Yes, family, blessed love. Definitely give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Give thanks for each and every one that has definitely stepped into the zone with us. It is with great joy I welcome you into the Tiger's Nest. Definitely giving thanks for all those who will be coming into this session, all those who will be definitely partaking with us for this evening right here as we, go through on another level. Let me just say how thankful we are for all of those who were with us previous night in the Tiger's Temple. What a wonderful reasoning and discussion that we had as it relates to the Bible and Rastafari. And I'm just going to somewhat recap some of what we spoke about previous night. Give thanks for all the ones that were in the house. And let me just say, while the family comes in, let me also give thanks again and just remind you of the upcoming summer solstice. Family, it's just a joy, that we are, celebrating this moment here. It's just a joy that we are, also keeping at this moment the meditation of the African Liberation Day. As you know, African Liberation Day is all now. African Liberation Day really is from, the liberation moment is from the 23rd, really, until the 25th of May. So we are thankful for that. But just reminding you again, my family, of our upcoming summer solstice experience. And remember, this is coming to you this year. And of course, it all begins from Friday, the 17th of June, and going until the 24th of June, the full experience. And we're speaking of 7 wonderful days with us, definitely keeping the vibration of upfulness. And I'm just reminding the family, this is the time for us to, make the connection. For those who have not made the connection yet, now is the time to make the connection with us, to make sure that your space is definitely set and you are ready to come and join us right here in Antigua. For those who do not know what I'm speaking of, as I said, as the family comes in, I think I'm going to take a moment to explain a bit what's going on that level there, because the summer solstice experience is definitely an experience that everyone would really want to partake of. Now, of course, you already understand the importance of Greencastle Hill. So as you know, the Rastafari experience Antigua and just the summer solstice experience alone is somewhat fashioned around Greencastle Hill, fashioned around the preservation of Greencastle Hill, more so than anything else. It is the preservation of Greencastle Hill, the preservation of Mount Anu that we are really all about, So definitely the vibration is heavy, and we are inviting each and everyone to, give us either a call, WhatsApp, email us, and get some more information on the upcoming experience. As I said, it's basically like just a few days from now. But of course, there's still time for you to put yourself in order. As we said, we have made sure all things have been set aright, in the sense that we have made sure that for those of you who are coming from far, you could definitely contact us as it relates to even your airfare, as we have already partnered with several travel agencies to make sure that you get the best price for your movements. And if you can get a better one, that is even better. And then at the same time, remember all your accommodations as well are in order for real, and to make sure that you have the best, you know, the best accommodation specifically for yourself and your family, to make sure that you are in the best hands. Yes, family, and of course, even down to your feast, your meals, fully vegan, and of course, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then the experience itself. When I say the experience itself, we're talking about 2 hikes. Double hike the Green Castle Hill, that will be the morning hike and the evening hike. We'll also have the Star Watch evening, where we will be observing the movements of the heavens on Green Castle Hill, mark you. And then, of course, at the same time, we'll be having the island tour. I'm looking forward to that one, the cannabis tour, or I'm definitely looking forward to that one there. And of course, the whole yoga retreat, yoga on the beach as well, morning yoga on the beach, afternoon yoga on the beach, of course, and so many other things, the lecture wherein our historians and griots will be definitely, you know, speaking to us and strengthening us on the history of the land. And it's just going to be a wonderful time, my family. I myself am looking forward to seeing those of you who will be joining us. You know, it's always a good feeling when ones leave where they are and come and spend a moment, you know, with the honorable priest. Real thing, you know, just as how you may be delighted to meet I, you know, I am just as, believe it or not, delighted to meet yourself. So definitely give us a contact. You can contact us now, definitely, and ask for more meditation, ask for more information as it relates to the whole aspect of the upcoming solstice. All right. Yes. So family, as I said, we're going to be having a wonderful time here. Who deleted that? Who took that off? You?
Oh,
No, you don't have to say that. Just asking if you took it off. Okay. All right. Just reading some comments here that I saw deleted. Family, don't mind you here. I just hear cool and calm. As you can see, it's just a calm evening, you know. And as I said, in a moment, I will be just somewhat recapping some of what we went into last night, you know. Family, you don't have to take away any of the comments from anyone who's asking any specific question. It's all right. We will deal with the questions sometime down in the program. We might be spending a good time with the family tonight. Yeah, we might be spending a good time with the family tonight. So family, yeah, man, just make sure you contact us. And I'm looking forward to those of you who could definitely come in, whether you're in Florida, whether you are in the BVI, the USVI, whether you're in St. Kitts, whether you're in Nevis, whether you're in Trinidad, whether you're in anywhere else, Ukraine, yes, South Africa, wherever you are, you know, come and visit us here, definitely, and spend a moment with us. You know, remember Nyabingi Sabbath service. We're going to have Nyabingi on the mountain as well. Oh, it's just going to be a joy. I'm looking forward to your presence with us. You know, previous night in Tiger's Temple, you know, we had a wonderful sit down and we were speaking of the Bible. Now, let me just say this before we go any further, that we definitely will be once again going into the Tiger's Temple. Powerful Bible. We'll definitely be going into the Tiger's Temple on Sunday. And this Sunday, we will have the Honorable Prophet Sheldon will be sitting in with us, and our good brother, the Honorable Wasir Heru, he will also be sitting in with us, and he will be definitely speaking of the whole aspect of the Bible. Both of them will be speaking of the Bible. And what we did this Sunday, really, on my part, I gave a reasoning to the audience, my audience, and I showed them from my perspective. And it was not from my opinion as such. Maybe my opinion would have entered the conversation at some time. It's only natural. But we based our discussion really on facts and history, and especially history that as we know it with facts, because there's history as we know it that ain't got no facts. Like, for example, the Septuagint being translated from the Hebrew Torah. That's history that we've been taught. And as we showed last night, that is not something that can be proven, that the Septuagint was translated from the Hebrew Torah. I don't know if Ranks Trinidad can prove that, but that is something, because the thing is, the Torah that the Septuagint was translated from is not a book that you could find, you know. All right. So we went into that, and really how we began the conversation, oh yeah, we were speaking about Anansi. And the reason why we brought in Anansi into the conversation is to show the family the importance of symbolism, and why symbolism has always been a major part of our African tradition, our African expression. You know, basically we proved that the Bible, the reason why we had to use this is because we proved that technically, whether you agree with it or not, the Bible is an African book. You know, that cannot be denied. The Bible family is an African book. Do you know, as we showed previous evening, most of the conferences that took place in the primitive years of Christianity, the vast majority of these conferences took place in Africa. We highlighted the conference of Carthage, that's about 419 AD. We highlighted the conference of Jamnia as well, which was really in the Levant. But still, the vast majority of these councils which are said to have, you know, put together the canon of the Bible, etc., the vast majority of them were in Africa. We highlighted all of that. It don't make no sense somebody watching this now say, oh, you got to prove that to us. Man, we did all of that in the Tiger's Nest. That's what the Tiger's Temple, pardon me. That's what the Tiger's Temple is all about. You know, I'm just giving you a kind of quick recap. We can't do the whole thing here. As you can see, with some nice high grade in front of us here, it's just a very mellow evening. Just a very mellow evening. Let's see. I know ones would like us to turn it up. But you see, when you turn it up now, man, beg it to cool down. Eh? When you turn it up, ones does be begging you to cool down. So don't be telling me nothing about turn up. Because when I turn up, enough ones does be running and hiding, and oh, priest, you don't have to be like that. So just be thankful. That is cool meditation for the moment. So I'm just saying though, that the Torah, you see, that's the real vibes of the story. You know, let me just run to that there. The real vibes of the story is that the Septuagint, as we know it, was translated from the Torah. You know, One may ask, what is the Torah? Some may say it's the Pentateuch. But from my understanding, it's the 5 books of Moses, which that is specifically the Torah. So the Septuagint now, for those who may not know, this is, in fact, hold on, let me just give you, as I said, family, we're freestyling here. So just give thanks for those who are sitting and supping with us. I promise we'll spend a moment tonight, you know, so you can get comfortable. We ain't gonna run out to this one. We're taking a little time, and we're taking your questions too, and if you think you're brave enough, we might just send you the link and tell you join us live. Let's see if you have something to say. Yeah. Once us be running, people be talking all behind screens and behind, we call these things with the round orange face, emojis and these kind of things. Yeah. All these things in a family. Ones have to be careful how you use up these things. Who is it that teach us to be using these orange face, yellow round face things? You understand? No, serious. We as conscious people, we use them like if it's something good to use. And sending smiling yellow face, this yellow face thing. What is that? What is that? Emoji. But I mean, that's short for emotions or something?
Yes. Or emoticons.
Emoticons. Hear that? That sounds like some Transformers, emoticons, Decepticons. All right. Yeah. And red hearts. Red heart is a dead heart, eh? Man, I tell you, these people have us good, eh? Yeah. I ain't trying to pretend I overdread more than nobody. I just showing you may appreciate that information. So we used this last night. This was from our previous night, BibleArchaeology.org. And BibleArchaeology.org, speaking of the origin of the Septuagint, let's follow this. And it says here, the very first translation of the Hebrew Bible was made into Greek, probably as early as the 3rd century BC. This so-called Septuagint translation of the Hebrew Bible into Greek is traditionally dated to the region, or the reign, pardon me, of Ptolemy II Philadelphus, or Ptolemy, because the P is not really pronounced, but Ptolemy II Philadelphus of Egypt, 285 to 246 BC, which is before the common, well, BC is before Christ. BCE is before the common era, but it's the same thing. It says here, I hope you're following me, it is commonly called Septuagint version from the Latin for 70, because according to the traditional account of its origin preserved in the so-called letter of Aristeas, it had 70 translators. Okay, so the book, the Septuagint, it is referred to as the 70 because it had 72 translators. Interesting stuff. Now, these 72 translators came from, as I said, an area known as the Levant, which is Palestine and Lebanon, that region there of the world. These were high scholars, noted scholars, and they came to Rome to translate the Hebrew Bible into Greek. Rome? Nah, man, who tell you that? Where did they go? Egypt. Oh, Egypt. Oh, okay. They went to Egypt to translate the Torah into Septuagint. If you ask family, I want you to follow me here. If you ask a scholar, someone who is versed in the study of, history and biblical history, if you ask them what's the origin of the Bible, not a religious mind now, a scholarly mind, more than likely they will tell you that the origin of the Bible is the Septuagint. A religious mind might tell you the Torah. But you see, when it comes to academics, you have to keep in mind that we're dealing with facts and evidence. And again, the Torah, wherein the Septuagint was supposedly taken from, is not something that you can find. It's not something in history really, or in a museum somewhere. So in 285 BCE, when the 72 left that part of the world called the Levant, they were commissioned by Ptolemy II or Ptolemy II. And keep in mind, coming from that part of the world, more than likely they were the darker type of people. And he housed these people in the Library of Alexandria. And the Library of Alexandria is annexed with, or has an annex known as the museum. Now, the museum, again, is annexed to the Library of Alexandria. Right, let me get it correct. The museum, not the museum, the museum, as it's pronounced. It's spelled mouse, I-O-N. Very easy, just mouse and I-O-N. If you look it up, you'll find it for yourself. We highlighted all of this last night. This is just a recap, family. If you're just coming in, we're just recapping, all that we did a previous night. Give thanks. So I'm saying now that the museum, it was once the temple of Dionysus. And according to history, I think that was created by Soter, the first Ptolemy, Soter. And then he rebuilt it or covered it over. And I think after Dionysus, it became the Serapeum. Now, the Serapeum was something dedicated to the worship of Serapis, who some people say is really the precursor, real precursor to Jesus Christ. That's Serapis. And then after that, Ptolemy II now, which is Philadelphia's. Remember, family, for those who do not know, these are the so-called kings of Egypt now, in the 30-something so-called dynastic period. No dynastic period here. These fellas here coming in with Alexander the Fake brought an end basically to the golden age of North Africa, or specifically Kemet. But you have to keep in mind, they did not pass the first cataract going south into Africa. So they had to stop at the border as such. So it's not as if they infiltrated the kingdom of Tarseti and the kingdom of Niam, the country of Karma and these places, in the place we know as Nubia, Kush. But we all know Alexander the so-called Great, did a number in Kemet. And of course, that is how his generals became head of the land. I'm talking about the Ptolemies. You understand? Good. Just for those who may not know it. All of us, I know some of us maybe say, oh, we know this stuff already. Here, I know. See, this is why the young minds can't learn nothing from us. Because we don't even wait on them. We don't even take time to nurture those who may not have been in this as long as us. Some people just wake up this morning. Some people just wake up yesterday. So we have to be, gentle with the knowledge that we're bringing out and make sure everyone can follow the storyline. So if you know all of this already, well, that's okay. That means you don't have to hear no more. Okay, you know all of this already. Yeah. But for those who don't know all of this already, yeah, so these are who the Ptolemies are, the Ptolemy people. So Ptolemy number two, I should say number two, that sounds better. Ptolemy number two now. He was the one that commissioned the museum. This is it. That is where the word museum comes from. And last night, of course, you saw that we highlighted that the museum is where they had fine arts and music, and it was like a university and yet still a library within its own self. So what you're looking at here, you got to remember the people that were ruling Kemet now at the time were real demons, Satan in flesh. So what happened is that these characters would have taken all of the ancient scrolls throughout the land of Kemet and deposited them in their little university, which is the museum. That is why you see this artwork. Obviously, it's an artwork, but this is telling of the age of Ptolemy II, when education and all of this stuff was high in Kemet. When the Greeks were still coming in, they didn't just come in, obviously, under the time of the ancient Kemetic kings. But now that the Greeks have taken over, well, then now this has become, Kemet has become like a wellspring for anybody to come down and be getting a certain level of knowledge. So you got to keep in mind that the Greek universities and these things really came from the knowledge of North Africa. So this here is a room filled with Egyptian scrolls. You see it there? A lot of us, we don't know this historically, but look at there. Do you know that this room here, this room that have all them scrolls there, is the same room that the 72 people came and translated the Septuagint, which most scholars consider the origin of the Bible, from the Hebrew Torah, which can't be found. Let me repeat that so you can get it good. This room here, the museum, which was once the Serapeum, also once the Temple of Dionysus. This room here, this building that has all of these Kemetic scrolls taken from all the temples around Kemet, the Temple of Amun, the Temple of Ptah, the Temple of the Great Gods, and all of these ancient scrolls. Let me show you what are on the scrolls. You know what's on the scrolls. Our ancient writings were on the scrolls. The ancient hieroglyph, that's what was on the scrolls. The same thing that we see on the wall was on the scrolls. And all of this knowledge was inside of this room. And I'm saying again, and you family, just kind of use common sense and meditate this well. And what I'm saying here is not my opinion. It's surely not a lie. It's historically sound. That this is the room, I ain't lying, that the 72 individuals from the Levant came, according to the history, that they spent 72 days inside of this room, locked away, creating the Septuagint. And the Septuagint was created, supposedly, from a Hebrew manuscript, the Torah. So the Septuagint, which is supposedly the foundation of the known Bible, was born in Africa. Who you tell me? So the Septuagint, the foundation of the known Bible, was born in Africa. Now, what I just mentioned a moment ago is definitely factual. It is no lie. I didn't make up anything there. So now we have to consider, but okay, but the Septuagint is taken from the Hebrew Torah. Now, who has ever seen that? You know, even a picture, just like how we have pictures of the scrolls, who have seen a picture? Because remember what's on the scrolls, although the scroll is paper, remember what's on the scroll is what's on the walls. And we still have the walls as evidence up to today, everything on the wall. The first religious writing, in the pyramid texts of Yunus and the pyramid texts of Tete or Pepe, the pyramid texts, oldest religious writing known. In fact, the oldest script is on the walls. The oldest language is on the walls. We just translated them to the scrolls, maybe for, you know, mobility, and you could carry it home to show somebody. But what's on the scrolls is on the wall. So we have solid proof of what was on the scrolls because it was on the walls. And one of my reasonings last night is that when you read the biblical text, you see a lot of similarity, especially when you understand the esoteric value of it. You see a lot of similarity, especially with that of the Kemetic writings. I will explain that depending on how far I take this discussion this evening. So we highlighted the Ethiopian Bible too. We're just recapping it. And remember, family, this Sunday in the Tigers Temple, we intend to have with us the good brother, Prophet Sheldon. We also will have Wazir Heru Ma'at. He will also be with us. Of course, both brothers would have already blessed us with their presence in the Tiger's Nest. And this time, we're stepping up to the other level in the Tiger's Temple. So family, I'm encouraging you to get your tickets early, your pass to come into the temple, because remember, this is definitely, it's going to be a sit-down discussion. It will not be a debate, although I am positive that both brethren have a slightly different outlook when it comes to the Bible. In a sense, one is for, I wouldn't say the other is against. Not, I wouldn't know. He would have to say he's against. But I wouldn't say he's against, but he definitely, as you heard him say, that's Brother Harry in our previous sit down, he clearly thinks that we can do without the Bible for now, and put that aside. I think he specifically said it's a European doctrine, but he would have to clarify that when he comes again. And we should look to higher realms of knowledge, which of course we are honorable in even in them times. And I am positive that the Honorable Prophet Sheldon is an individual who clearly, you know, in all ways, in all fashions, hold fast to the biblical scripture, hold fast to the Bible, of course, as even prescribed by Emperor Haile Selassie I. So I'm looking to have a very wonderful sit down on Sunday in the Tigers Temple. I'm looking for all of you family to come and sit in with us. And, we will definitely, we'll sup a cup and have a good insight. And remember, you yourself, you'll be definitely there to ask any questions to the brothers, even to myself. You are free to make any comment, and we will interact, especially depending on how many of us that may be in the room. And of course, we still have to look at time. Last night or previous night, I mean, we were there almost until 11 o'clock, man. Just the wonderful reasoning that we had in the Tigers Temple, in a more secluded region, and we can sit in and kind of elevate for those who understand the value of what we are doing. So I'm looking forward to your presence in the Tigers Temple this Sunday. So just make sure you contact us. You don't know how that is done. Make sure you give us a link and let us know that all is well, and you could definitely be a part of the whole vibration and environment that we are putting on for you. All right, wonderful. So again, this is the heights that we were showing you. So when it comes to the Ethiopian Bible now, the Ethiopian Bible itself is considered, when you actually investigate and you look into, for example, the oldest biblical scripture, the oldest Bible on the planet, that's not a tricky thing, but there's no necessarily oldest Bible as such. I'll tell you why I say it like that. And that is because, okay, for example, most people would say that the Bible obviously was written in Hebrew. This is what we've been taught. So the fact that we've been taught that, why should we think otherwise? All right, good. Because as I just said, the Hebrew scripture, the Hebrew Torah, is where the Septuagint, supposedly was taken from. All right, very good. But then at the same time now, the oldest complete Hebrew Bible it's between the Leningrad Codex or one of the other codexes or codices, pardon me. But the point is now the Leningrad Codex, one of the, if not the oldest complete Hebrew Bible, is dated 1000 AD. I want you to hear my argument. Good. So the oldest complete put together Hebrew Bible is 1000 years old. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong, they have other Hebrew manuscripts, biblical, that are older than that, but they're not in their complete form. Fair enough. But yet still now, the oldest complete Bible, and this is more than complete, is the Ethiopian Bible, and we're talking all, the 4th century AD. That's going like 1600 years ago. All right, follow me good. And this, not just this Bible, the Ethiopian Bible now is not necessarily one Bible. Like, for example, the Leningrad Codex, that is something you may find in a museum somewhere under glass, etc. But then now, when it comes to the Ethiopian Bible itself, it's not just a book, like it's just one Bible somewhere, or we have discovered the Ethiopian Bible. Oh, man. There's many Bibles in Ethiopia. that predate many of the other books that are considered the oldest Bible here and there. Because as I said, in Ethiopia has a strong, as you know, religious spirit. And historically, the history of Ethiopia is almost, well, as they say, second to none, although I don't really like that phrase really. But again, as it relates to the biblical origin of it, or the agency of its biblical texts, there is there is so many Ethiopian Bibles. It's not just a Bible, and that is something I'm trying to fashion in the mind so you could understand how vast the thing is. Whether you believe in Bible, whether you think King James write Bible and all of them old story, that's not where we were last night, and I'm not even there now. I'm just bringing to you bits and pieces of history. This is just, trust me, this is just like, as I said, a recap of what we did previous night. That's why you should be in the temple, and I mean, in all honesty, we wasn't even this groovy last night in the temple. This is just like a sit-down fireside chat. But previous night, in a sense, we were really going in. But what I'm trying to show you now, that the Ethiopian Bibles, the liturgical books, it's not a book. It's many, many books. I'm sure they haven't found the oldest Ethiopian Bible yet. You know what I'm saying? Right. So when you speak of the Ethiopian Bibles, the conversation is really different than these other places where they find a script here and a little piece of parchment here and have it in a glass case and want $1 million for it. No, man, this is a different thing altogether. These killers will go and tear out a leaf of the Ethiopian Bible and go and sell that for $500 million. Yeah, man. Yeah. And get it sold. Do you know, and we mentioned this previous night, that one of the reasons why, and this is something that the first time I came across this, I was like, wow. One of the reasons why, or the two main reasons why the Book of Enoch was not in the accepted canon of the Bible. And this is something else. I mean, what do you mean? Accepted by who? By Europe. Because the Book of Enoch is in the Ethiopian Bible. So it is accepted. See, that shows you alone Ethiopia on its own. Ethiopia doing something different than the rest of them. Because they said the reason why the Ethiopian Enoch Bible or book could not come into the canon of the Bible is because, number one, they didn't want any book. Hear this, no man. They didn't want any book that was older than the books that they already had, or the regular books of the Bible: Genesis, Deuteronomy, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Judges, and apparently the Book of Enoch outdated them. That's one point. Here, the second point. The Book of Enoch could not make it because they did not want any book that was not written in Hebrew or Aramaic. Not American, Aramaic, which is really what precedes Hebrew. Hey, somebody said the Tiger's Temple's graphics is amazing, but I had to take a stop. Man, that's the works of the Honorable Prince Almasi. Let me just highlight that. Pardon me. You know what I mean? I just saw the comment, so I just have to. Yeah, man, that's the works of the Honorable Prince Almasi there, and in fact, basically all of our works that you see, posters and otherwise, is done by the young fireman there. So how is it he has coming again? So we're very thankful, for the Honorable Prince and such mighty works. All right. So yes, let's see if we can reach back down now to where we were. So as I was saying now, as it relates to the Bible here, the Book of Enoch was considered to be older than the other books, so it couldn't make it. And it wasn't written in the Hebrew tongue. It was written in Ge'ez, so it couldn't make it. That doesn't sound funny to you, family? The Book of Enoch, older than the other books. The Book of Enoch, older than the other books. Listen to me. And the Book of Enoch, written in Ge'ez. So if the Book of Enoch, in a me says on a man, just follow this. If the Book of Enoch is older than the book of Genesis and the book of Leviticus and the book of Ruth, the Book of Enoch older than them, so he can't make it, plus the Book of Enoch not written in Hebrew, it written in Ge'ez. That says a lot for the language of Ge'ez. And it also says a lot for the language of Hebrew. Now, hear me go there. Because I will repeat, the Ethiopian book that we are speaking of is older or precedes the oldest Hebrew Bible by 600 years. That's just history for you. The oldest Ethiopian text, or the oldest set of Ethiopian Bibles, precedes the Leningrad Codex by approximately 600 years. Okay. You know what I'm trying to tell you? If nobody came and told us certain things, we would just think of our own self and say, hey, X, Y, and Z. Now, we were told, again, that the Septuagint was translated from a Hebrew Torah, 300 years BCE. Do you know they have linguists that will tell you Hebrew is not that old? I know the Hebrew believers are going to say, no, man, Abraham talked to God in Hebrew, and God talked to Adam in Hebrew. In fact, Hebrew was the language. Hebrew is the first language. Now, that's just downright religious. If you're going to try to tell me Hebrew is the first language when Hebrew comes from a specific script, and everybody know Hebrew is a baby to Aramaic, and you can just see Aramaic, Amharic, and Arabic, as one brethren highlighted last night in the temple. You can see the oneness there, and they're quite related to not the Phoenician script, but the Syriac script, because these languages come from scripts. They have individual scripts. You know, the Meduneta is the original script. That is why you have the Demotic, you have the Coptic, and you also have Ge'ez. The Ge'ez is a cursive form of hieroglyph. The Ge'ez is a cursive form of the Meduneta. Ge'ez. Ge'ez is like a sister to Coptic, Ethiopic. Ge'ez. You understand? That is why even Christ is seen speaking Ethiopic in the Bible when he says, thou shalt not call thy brother Raka, or thou shalt not say unto thy brother Raka. I think it's in Matthew chapter 5. I could be corrected. But the Raka is an untranslated word. We're all the scholarly ones out there. Yeah? Raka. I don't want to call them names. Let me behave myself. But Raka means you fool. You're checking, not you, not nobody be offended. I'm just telling you what it means. And Raka is untranslated, and it's an Ethiopic word. Now you see that? What I'm saying to you is something I learned a long time ago, going through a very ancient Bible dictionary. Now, if you look that up today, it's very hard to find that information because they're going to hide that from you. So in other words, in the Bible, there is an untranslated word, Raka, that Christ was speaking. It's in red letters, Raka, R-A-C-A, and it means you fool. And when you look it up, at least with proper research, because you know they hide things now, even the stars they change. Well, not in the sky, but in their books. But when you look up Raka, it is considered to be an untranslated word. Maybe at the time they didn't know what it means, I don't know, but it is Ethiopic. So to me, it looks like Christ was speaking Ethiopic. Because you may argue, well, no, maybe it was taken from an Ethiopic scripture. So then, if it was translated into Ethiopic and they could translate it to Raka, what Hebrew word was Raka translated from? So this is what I'm saying, you know, family. We can't just follow everything that we have been taught. Not just in Sunday school, but even outside of Sunday school, they try a little thing with us too. This is why I stand my ground to say that the stories that you see in the Bible, which originally came from Septuagint, because the Septuagint was translated in Africa. In Africa, the oldest set of Bibles in Africa. So how the Bible is not an African book? It's hard really to argue that the Bible is not an African book. You don't have to like the Bible to agree with that. And then now what I'm saying here is that when you observe, you know, as I said, the science here, Septuagint, all right. It was translated in a room filled with scrolls. We said this already. Kemetic scrolls. This is why when we looked at the story of Noah, I'm saying that the story of Noah, he keep popping up. I'm saying that the story of Noah is the same story of Nuh. This is the Noah story. This story is where this story comes from. I am super positive. I am super, super positive. Now, you see, as I said, to really explain this to its depth, it'll take more time and even more energy, I tell you the truth. But you see, if you remember when we started the reasoning previous night, we started with Galatians, the book of Galatians, chapter 4. And in Galatians chapter 4, it was showing you that the story of Abraham and Sarah and Hagar is an allegory. That's what it says. Which, of course, you know, an allegory means that it's symbolic writing. Okay, very good. So that just highlights that there is high symbolism in the Bible. The Bible is a highly symbolic book, extremely symbolic. We took the time to break down the difference between an allegory, simple symbolism, and esoteric expressions too. Esoteric is deep science. And we show that even though something is an allegory, it doesn't take away from, for example, the historical value of it. The history of it may not be as dramatic as the allegory, but it doesn't take away from the history. What does that mean? Okay, so a man named Jonah was swallowed up by a fish. Now that may be true. What do you mean that may be true, priest? You believe anybody can get swallowed by a fish? Where you get? Hold on, man. Take your time. You're not listening. Listen to me good, man. Sure. Well, as I said, allegory. For example, when we read Galatians, okay, since you made that statement, let me go back a bit. When we made that, when we mentioned Galatians chapter 4, the author was speaking of, again, Isaac having a child with the bond woman and a child with the free woman. And he was expressing that this is symbolic of one being Mount Sinai and the other being Jerusalem. Hagar being Mount Sinai and what's her name there? Sarah being Jerusalem. Now, it doesn't take away, let's say, from the historical reality of the story, but he's just showing you, but there's something between the lines that we need to read. There's a deeper message there, allegory. So Jonah now being swallowed up by the fish, I'm just telling you that Jonah being swallowed by the fish doesn't mean that there wasn't a man named Jonah. He may not even be called Jonah. I mean, Jonah is just a title. Jonah is just, another way of Jonah, Jesus, and Jehoshua, In fact, as I always say, when you take the J away from Jonah, you get Noah. And then the Noah story, although it may not seem as similar to that, the Jonah story. But you see, when you study things and you learn to deal with it in allegory, the Anansi story, all stories belong to Anansi, allegory. The web of Anansi represents the grid of the earth, allegory. When you understand allegory now, and know that even in Africa, we expressed ourselves in dance and song and poetry and theater to express our history, our theology, to express our culture. It's called allegory. When you really understand the allegory, you could see that is the same story. Because Jonah was in a boat and he was thrown overboard, deluge. Of course, Noah in his boat, he wasn't really thrown overboard, but there was a deluge as well. And that is why I'm saying that when you take the J from Jonah, you actually have the name Noah there right away. Science, allegory, fair enough. So again, with the story of Noah, or the story of Nu, because Noah's name is Nu, we highlighted that previous night. Noah's name is Nu. It's just obvious because the Noah's story is a creation story. Just like the story of Nu is a creation story as well. You understand? And here you have Noah. No, that's Nu. Okay. Here you have Nu. And of course, Noah's name is Nu, by the way. Who tell you that? Noah's name is Nu. What's Noah's name in the New Testament? What do you mean, what's Noah's name in the New Testament? It must be Noah. No, Noah. Noah. It's not Noah. The name of Noah in the New Testament is Noe. So why did he change his name? He didn't change his name. It's the language. So in the Hebrew then, let's say the Hebrew, it's Noah. And we think it's Noah in Hebrew, it's Noah or something like that. But anyway, in Hebrew, it's Noah. In Greece or Greek, it's Noe. Good. In Arabic, he's called Nu. So Noah's name in Arabic is Nu. Very interesting. Because you see his language, Remember, when you study language, you see words that sound similar, like Arabic, Amharic, Amharic, and these ancient language you get Salamta, Salam, Shalom. All of these words are English peace. See the difference with the English peace. But in the ancient tongue is Shalom, Salam, Salamta, Assalamu alaikum. All of these different languages have a similar sound for one word. And you find that in many things. That's why you see in one language a word looks like another word and say, well, this is the French version of his Spanish name. All of that. So the Arabic name for Noah, the Muslim Noah there, his name is Nu. And the Kemetic Nu has similar traits to Noah or to Nu. The both of them named Nu. So let's forget the name Noah now, because Noah named Nu. Because the Quran said that Allah is the greatest Noah. K-N-O-W-E-R. I'm just kind of putting a spin on it. Allah is the greatest Noah, because Noah is God in the scripture. Noah represents God. He overlooks creation. The world was recreated. It didn't just flood and the water go. No, that's the story version. But the waters represent the primordial waters. So this is why you have Nu with his boat, or Nu with his bark, just like you have Noah, his bark, but take off the B, is an ark. So Noah have his bark and Nu have his ark. No. Noah has his ark and Nu has his bark. But Noah was right, because Nu has his ark, because Noah's name is Nu, and Nu has his bark. So Nu have his bark and Nu have his ark. And Nu now is Nu and 7 others. It's 8 people here. You understand? In the same way now that Noah and his ark is 8 people with Noah and his ark. Okay, good. And let me see something. The reason why this fella here, this was you gotta get rid of this slide really. This was a slide I was using to show that, they have actually built a replica of the ark described in the Bible. And scientists came to the conclusion that even if you were to leave out all the insects, because in the Bible he says creeping things, saying even if you were to leave out all the insects, everything, there's enough insects in it. Man, the insects alone would fill up that boat here. 2 of each would fill up that boat. 2 mosquitoes, how many different type of species of flies, all the different cockroaches, worms, caterpillars, ladybugs, spiders. How much type of spiders there are? Yeah, man, that alone would fill up that boat, creeping, crawling things. Because that's what the Bible says, creeping, crawling things. Good. So the scientists were saying, if you were to leave out the insects and then take all the other animals, 2 of each kind, and you were supposed to break that in half of, you done cut it in half of what remained it, not the half that remained, not the half that remained, half of what remained still could not hold on the boat. I ain't gonna say that again. You can try to figure that out. See, they have a giraffe up here. I don't even know if it's a real giraffe or what, but you put the next giraffe there and a couple other animals, the thing pack already. And according to what we read in the Bible, it was 1 window in the boat. 1 window. Read it good. 1 window. But then we also showed, that the book of Noah, Genesis 6 and 7, was written by 3 authors. We proved that. I ain't gonna try to prove that now. But you can't deny me. I'm not going to try to prove it, but we proved that. The waters were up like 15 cubics, but this boat was made, the height of the boat is 30 cubics, and the water was 15 cubics. That will flood the whole earth, according to Genesis. A long story. But the point I'm making, family, is that, you see, this is why symbolism is so important. Because when we understand symbolism now, this is why now we don't get caught up in the story form. And it was written in story form to confuse you. They try to blame everything on Shakespeare and King James. We are a people that are accustomed to story form. You know, all stories belong to Anansi. That's my point. You know, when we highlighted, where's the book? When we highlighted the marriage of, and here it is, the marriage of Anansi Wa. When you have the marriage of Anansi Wa and Edufa. Yes. Talk about who was the author there again? T. Solomon.
F.O.T. Sutherland.
F.O.T. Sutherland. You know, it speaks about Anansi, the symbolism of Anansi, and Anansi basically dwells in all of us. Just like how we taught Christ dwells in all of us, Anansi dwells in all of us. This is African tradition, you know, and Anansi takes on different characteristics. It's deep, deep, deep. Even Anansi's web again represents the grid of the earth, because you know the earth has natural grids and ley lines. The web of Anansi covers the earth and is said to be symbolic of that. It's some deep, deep stuff, you know. So in that same fashion there, we as a people, we have good understanding for symbolism. So even though it says it took 2 animals and they went on the boat and all of that stuff there, we have an understanding. It's not wrong with what it says. It was said so for those of us who could understand the esoteric meaning of it. It was written so to give to a people to confuse them and lose them totally, and so them be telling you about stop the sun and a man went into a fish for 3 days and 3 nights, and Joshua stopping the sun. Is nothing wrong with that neither, when you understand it in allegorical fashion. Because obviously for a man to stop the sun, that means the world, the earth would have to stop spinning. Now, come on, let's not deny it now, family. Let's be truthful. Many of you believe that Joshua stopped the sun. Don't be ashamed. It's all right. Some of you believe that Jonah was swallowed by a fish for 3 days and 3 nights. Yeah. Nothing wrong if you, well, something wrong, eh? But you don't need to feel bad about it. For me, get the understanding, it's time to look at things on a different level. I'm not one of those that are going to tell him, man, boy, throw that book and burn the book now, throw that fire. No, man. Why would I follow the ignorant when I have a good understanding? You don't hear all I explaining to you. I haven't even gone into 1/10 of what we talked about last night. And not because someone don't know what you know, mean you're supposed to forget what you know. I have understanding of exactly what the Bible is. I just showed you where it come from, even though I didn't go that far into the depths of it. In reality, again, you know, the oldest known Bible is written in gaze. Now you may argue, yeah, that was translated from the Hebrew. Now you see, which one of them, which Hebrew that was translated from? Get the Hebrew Bible that the gaze Bible was translated from, let me see. And why is it when the fellas were putting their Bible together, they didn't want the Book of Enoch, because it had a language that was older than the language that was, you know, ascribed or prescribed to the canon. Never think of all of that. That's interesting. Is somebody trying to prop up the language of Hebrew to be more than what it is? Is somebody trying to prop up the language of Hebrew to be more than what it is? Because we could not find the Hebrew book in the museum that the Septuagint, the foundation of the Bible, was written from. But we find a lot of scrolls written in the original tongue, which is Meduneta. Somebody trying to discredit Meduneta? All the Hebrew Bibles, family, listen to me. All the Hebrew Bibles that you can find today, including the same Leonard de Grade, were translated from Latin or Greek. That's a fact. So when you hear about the oldest Hebrew Bible, it's not no original Hebrew Bible. They ain't really no original Hebrew Bible. They all come from a Greek Bible, the Septuagint. Yes, but the Septuagint came from the original Hebrew Bible. You can't prove that. You can't prove that. The Septuagint wasn't written in a Jewish monastery. You know? The Septuagint was written in a temple filled with Egyptian scrolls. It's like forensic assessment we doing here. And when they came out with the Septuagint and we say, hey, let me read it. We come across a story and know that look just like the story of Noah. And then when we sit and break it down and say, but Noah is new and Noah is Noah and Noah and the bark and the ark and 8 people and flood and primordial water and new beginning, because the new story is a new beginning, just like the new story or the Noah story is a new beginning. It's new. That's why it's new, because it's a new beginning. It's not an old, it's not old, it's new. Check it, new. New and now net the Nun. That's why Joshua is the son of Nun, the fish. Listen, family, the thing can get deep, Rastafari. Let me look at the chat here and see who we have. So family, listen, man, while I go and see who we have here, there's a lot of comments there. Let me just say that my brother Ranks Trinidad was saying here, although it has been deleted, Ranks Trinidad was asking, how could you be an African? And how could you be a Hebrew, Israelite, and African? Earlier, Ranks asking them question here. And Ranks is saying, I'm paying attention to Ranks. Rastafari is Ethiopian. He is not Israel. That's Israeli, I believe. He's not Israel. Yeah, this one, I can't get to read that. Let me see if I can see it. I just want to see it, I'm just in the mood to see what he's saying here. All right. Wow. So no. We say Ranks was turn off. Bring for 300 seconds. Should have given Ranks his chance, eh? He didn't really say nothing out the way. He just asking his questions there. All right, brother Ranks, don't feel no way. My team is very sharp. They ain't playing around. Nobody can just come and try infiltrate. This is serious times right now. So sometimes the sword that I give them, you know how Peter reacted. Peter just jump and cut off ears. So my team ain't playing right now. Yeah, man. My team ain't playing it, which I don't give them no wrong. Eh? I don't give them no wrong. Because when I'm on the team of the soldier of God, you can't come trouble the soldier of God. And I myself will chop off you more than your ears for you, straight up. So I'm not upset with my team at all. Enough respect to my team. Enough respect to the full arsenal that we have here. But brother Ranks not feeling, man, it's just joy, And I so upful and itiful. So yeah, let me see what we have here, family. Family, remember Sunday in the temple. Ranks, he must come in the temple, man. Come in the Tiger's temple, Ranks. Ranks Trinidad. Come in the Tiger's temple and sit in and hear, real reasoning take place. And then we can hear your voice. You can take off your camera, let us see your face. See who you really are. Hear how your voice sound. This ain't no dodging and hiding. Yeah, we open. We ain't got no bulletproof vessel. We open. Yeah, you know where we are. You almost know, what's going on around us. So nobody know who you be, and we saying all kind of things. We ain't got a time to be running down no phantom right now. All right, so big up to Archie Parana and who we have here. Give me a little more light on this here. Archie Parana there. Sorry, that went off there. Pardon me. Bam. We also have Michael Command. No P. Michael Command, blessed love. I don't know what I said. He said no P. I don't know if no P means no priest. Well, whatever I said that you disagree with, we can, who we have there, Princess? Give us some little.
Onika Alfonso.
What is she saying there?
It says, yes to it. We need to push the Ethiopian Bible. But how to get one?
Okay, I don't think that's that. If you just Google that, somebody had to have that selling somewhere or something. Okay. Jahim Gonzalez from Trinidad, give thanks. I think that brother contacted me the other day. If he's there, my brother, blessed love as well. You know, give thanks for Julie Lazion Kerry. That's a name I know. You don't want to get nobody name wrong. Then you have Rasta Huti. Yeah, saying Rasta Eyes is. And then you have the Royal Judean Society for Solidarity and Prosperity. All right. So it's like a seal resting there. That's Salamta, Habarim. What does that mean? That's American. Okay, I believe. The Honorable Princess do a little bit of Amharic, but for sure, she's more into the Kiswahili. Fight Babylon King, greetings, more love, more strength, give thanks. Brandon Singh, greetings and gratitude, family. Let me see. All right, see Ranks say here, Ranks get a word in, man. He say, you block me, it's okay. Shawa, yeah, shower, yeah. You have to forgive me in the ranks and a 2 verse in the Hebrew, like yourself. Yeah, all right, give thanks. One of them times I'm gonna send the link right here for you, Ranks. But I invite Ranks already to come and talk his piece, you know. Come the man, Ranks. We ain't playing around. This is not hide and seek it. We invite you to come and say your piece. You know what I mean? Come and teach me how to, you know, speak the language properly. We're not here as no master of it all, as if we have it. You know, we just stick in our lane. You think because you have a different opinion than me, I'm ready for you. I will give you the chance to sit down and explain what you have to explain and make the people listen to you like how they listen to me. No need to be afraid. Eh? Yeah. But anyway, give thanks continually. So family, anything that anyone needs to say, you know, for sure, you know, we should be able to share this Zoom link. I feel like I want to share the Zoom link and make ones come in here, but some other time we'll do that. But family, as I'm saying now to the eye, then Sunday, we're going to have Brother Sheldon with us, Honorable Prophet Sheldon. Yes. Brother Weze Heru will also be with us as well in the Tiger's Temple. And we will be going into some serious reasoning as it relates to the validity of the Bible and the importance of it. You know, I must say the audience that we had this Sunday, definitely the brethren and the sisters that were there with us, wonderful sit down. And most ones were definitely strong advocates for you know, the biblical script. And also remember, we were just coming off of a reasoning with Brother Heru, wherein I would say again, I wouldn't say that he was against it, but he definitely was critical of the importance given to it at this time. So I personally want a reasoning with the 2 different outlooks. You understand? I personally, because me, as a person that's seeking for knowledge, I get more knowledge when I hear diverse opinions. Yeah, because I know to pick sense out of nonsense. Like I don't eat no animal, but like old people does say, you know what I mean? Chew the meat and spit out the bones. Yeah, so you have to can do that. And as I said, this is not a debate, but we will have debates in the future. If they want to carry to a debate, we can do that too. But family, let me make this clear. I've been doing debates for years. Years. I know the debate thing on YouTube has gone to some serious WWE kind of professional wrestling, WrestleMania kind of stomp and rock thing. Definitely, I mean, I don't know. I would never ever find myself in them levels there at all. But I've done debates. Even my good brother, I was reminding him, brother Heru, Wasea Heru, that even the time we spent in St. Lucia, we would have conducted several debates in Gay Bar, what the place name? Bay Gardens Inn, and also like memory, the DBS television stations, and Russell Lake Show. And we would have debates with all 4 different people. You know, Nkrumah, I remember I did a debate with Nkrumah and the Hebrew Israelites as well. And who was the 4th person? Well, myself and someone else was a part of that debate. And I'm going to tell you who hosted the debate for me. Jerry George, the famous Jerry George. What a session that was, eh? A 4-way debate. I mean, respectful, pure academics, you know, real scholarly, no argument, no wrestling, just information coming down. It was a who is God debate, you know. So a debate is supposed to be something that, you know, you have people that are versed in the very same subject there to give at least a report when the debate is done. May not be who win or who lost, but when you have an expert, the expert can say, okay, was a good, you know, tug of war, but I must say this brother lost a few points in my book because he failed to mention this and that and the third. This other brother, he made a good point here, but because he didn't really understand how such and such came about, it made his point kind of weak. You know, that's how you judge a debate. Somebody that's scholarly, that knows what went on, not just somebody that feel like, boy, he tear up the man. You hear him man cuss his mother, boy, deal with him good. That's not a debate. How did that become a debate? No, man, that's just argument there. So we're not looking for that. You know, we're not looking for that at all. That's not what we're keeping up when the debates come. But what we're doing Sunday is not a debate, family. It will be a round table discussion as such. You know, I've even invited someone else. I'm just waiting for their response. I don't want to say who it is and put them on the spot, but I've invited a 3rd individual to come and sit with us so we could, you know, have a more rounded reasoning on the Bible. And those of you who will be there with us in the temple, obviously, you also will get a chance to hear your views as well and ask your questions and even make your comments. So remember, that's Sunday. Every Sunday, we're in the Tigers Temple. At 8 p.m. sharp, we're in the Tigers Temple, cutting and clearing and renting and tearing and just moving all obstacles out of our way. Of course, to be a part of the temple is a very simple thing to do. You don't know, just email us. Let's email us specifically, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. That priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. And of course, you could also WhatsApp us, area code 1-268-728-8289, and let us know, hey, I would like to be a part of the Tigers Temple this Sunday, and we'll definitely set you up with the link. Remember, there's just a small contribution really there for entrance of $10. Now, let us, and that's a contribution. Let me just look at some of the comments. If anyone has any question, let me see of anything that we just said a while ago. Just servant God says, Isaiah chapter 28, verse 11, I will speak to my people with foreigners languages. This meant that speaking Hebrew is irrelevant. Oh, that's heavy. Acts chapter 2, all languages will Will was welcome. It has that. All languages, will was welcome. Well, give thanks. I understand that point. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. But still, we still just looking at, not that we trying to see who relevant and irrelevant. I get your point, with all due respect. But still, that is what I'm saying. We're just looking at it on a scholarly level and just trying to understand the truth. And going forward, that will help us to think properly. And then Reese's, I hope I pronounced that right. Well, it's Reese's at least. Your works changing the world as we speak. Oh my, well, I give thanks. I honorable. I really appreciate love that. And we have here same Reese's. I will be with the eye from that time to this time. I will be with the eye from that time to this time. Give thanks. 7 star, 7 hour star says, bless. Your knowledge transcends all barriers. 4 corners of the most remote corners of the earth, manning true. Give thanks again. I thank the eye. Give thanks again. Enough loves. Give thanks again. All right. And Ras I CERN, give thanks for I. Yes, I give thanks for the man Ras I CERN specifically. Someone I definitely hope to have sitting in the temple sooner than later as well. Yeah, man. So that is what the temple energy is all about. Family is all about giving us strength. Now, also, pardon me. So if there's no question, you understand, because we're here, we're holding a meditation. I ain't running away yet. In fact, I want to take a draw of my chalice in a moment here. Just hope that is understanding as well. Yeah, family, you don't know, it's so many different things to touch upon. And, I know we as a people, sometimes we do like these levels of conversation and all of these different things. And as I said, even in the temple, there are other things that we tend to touch upon. I know a lot of us, we ain't like to talk about our youths. We don't like to talk about the state of the younger generations. To me, we all can say, when we were young, we were bad too and all them kind of things there. But in reality, I'm just observing the times that we are in at the moment, and trust me, them is some different type of times. So programs even relating to even those of us even in the conscious realms and our young ones that we are bringing into this time is very, very important. Highlighting to you again, my family, the times here, and there's something I didn't. Yes, I didn't go into the letter of Aristeas. I want to say something about that even before we go. But anyway, let me get to that before we go. I just remember that. And I don't see no one asking no specific questions. Well, let me remind you, family. Remember the summer solstice experience is here. It's the summer solstice time. In fact, let me show you a video here. I have a video here with you remember him? What's his name there again? Yeah, but anyway, yeah, we have so many people who have taken the Green Castle Hill. Yeah, and this is oh my, I hope he not watching and say, man, please, sorry, forget my name. My brother, so many people come to the hill. So many people come to the hill. Anyway, I'm going to tell you his name right now. My audio is much louder than his, but just listen to what he says here. His name is coming to me now, and I want to say it before I play it. Anyway.
Yes, blessed love. Once again, we're here in Green Castle Hill, Mount Anu, and we have visiting us all the way from Guyana.
Of course,
Brother Abu.
How I forget
and
Abu name, Brother Abu. Anyway, this is Brother Abu who came to visit us here. Yes, this is on Green Castle Hill. You can see just behind Brother Abu. This is just a little mountain. That's nothing going on there at all. I'm talking about a massive hill, volcanic rocks just protruding, going up into the heavens. Anyway, let's hear what Brother Abu has to say, albeit it's a bit soft. Just, put your ears closer to the speaker.
is a photographer and an economist, pardon me, and so many different things. But my good brother, you could just give the people a quick word on what you think of the experience right here on Mount Anu, Greencastle Hill.
Absolutely awesome, beautiful. It's nice to see untouched tropical climate. I think for such a small island, Antigua is indeed a very, very beautiful place. And in terms of tourism, I think it's something worth pursuing. Of course, in an environmentally friendly way. It was breathtaking to go through the hills. Quite an exercise, but absolutely worth it. And to see the natural make of the land. Absolutely beautiful, and I'd highly recommend to anybody who visits Antigua. In fact, I dare say for the local Antiguans, you should not be from Antigua and have never seen this.
Thank you very much.
And as you could see, he was just saying that he recommends anyone from Antigua to make sure they see this, because a lot of ones around here would have never seen it. And of course, this is, as I said, Greencastle Hill. Give thanks to the man Rastafari here. Rastafari experience Antigua. And as you could see, the rocks just protruding out of the hill. And this is just a small section of the hill. Just a little thing behind some of the thrones there. Very beautiful, very, very wonderful vibration there. So that's Brother Abu there, man. So family, I'm inviting you to come and visit us specifically in June. Remember, this is not just Greencastle Hill alone, although the Greencastle Hill experience, family, let's be straight. That's the main thing you're coming from. Not even the cannabis. Not even the cannabis experience. The experience specifically to Greencastle Hill is what you are definitely coming for. It will be 2 days of wonderful vibration, two hikes directly specifically. We'll be doing the afternoon hike first. That will be Sunday the 19th. That will be the afternoon hike. That will be at the going down of the sun. And then that same evening, we will watch the setting of the sun, and we will also observe the stars coming out. Oh, what a beautiful evening that will be. And then we will show specific alignments with certain rocks, you know, and the heavens. But remember, that is the 19th. You should be here by the 17th. That's the Friday. That same evening, we will have a meet and greet when I will get to meet you all, and you all will get to meet me and the full Rastafari experience family. You know, the very next day in the morning, we're going to go to a Sabbath service. Make sure you bring your white clothes for that. Wonderful vibration amongst the Bobo Shanti order. And of course, at lunch and everything. And then at the same time, that same evening, we're going to have a wonderful lecture that the whole community will be coming out for that one. Our grill, Brother Paddy Simon, and of course, other historians will be on board, will be giving us a good set of knowledge and information as it relates to the history of the island. And then the next day, we're going to begin the day with some beach and some yoga. That will be the Sunday morning. You haven't even gone up the hill yet, and look at how many things have already happened. Then the afternoon, you're going up Greencastle Hill. That's Sunday afternoon, the 19th. That will be the first hike. That will be a very festive event. We're going to have nabbing, drummings, and so many different things. It's going to be really wonderful. Some of the historians will still be with us and explaining a lot of what you'll be seeing, because remember, there's a lot of things to see, coming up Greencastle Hill. And then at the same time, we will, after that beautiful hike, the next day, we will have the island tour, which is Monday the 20th. That we'll be taking you all over the island. In between the island tour, we will be having the cannabis tour and the chalice talk and everything ganja. Yeah, I will leave it at that. Give thanks for the chalwa. And then at the same time, we will also be, after that, well, that's a whole day. That's a whole day, trust me. So yeah, that's one event, the island tour with the cannabis tour in the midst. That's a whole day. That day, look forward to get some nice ital sauce coming out of the Yaba pot, coming out of the Jabba pot. Yeah, man, I wonder if the Honorable Priest Jermaine coming over there, man. Yeah, for the Yaba pot and the the Jabba part. Remember, King, you know, you different, you know. But anyway, whatever the case is, we're looking forward to each and every one. And at the same time, then Tuesday the 21st, early in the morning, back to Green Castle Hill. But the morning hike to the 21st is going to be a bit different, because that is going to be a bit, you know, quiet, serene. And at that time, we will be, you know, taking in the rising sun. The audience, the crowd will not be as big as it would have been on the Sunday for the Tuesday morning. In fact, it might just be those of us who are a part of our little family for the moment, for them 7 days. Obviously, you know, it's a family because we're getting to meet each other. Not only you getting to meet me and I getting to meet you, but ones will be coming that don't know each other. And, you know, it's just a unity that we'll be building. And then after that beautiful morning hike, after we come down, you know, you rest and, of course, your lunch, whatever the case is, because all your meals, your feasts will be available for you. And then in the afternoon, you know, cool down with some yoga on the beach as well. Then the Wednesday, it's a day that we actually give you to free up yourself to the point that all of what you saw before, you could even decide that, hey, I want to go back to the Nyabingi camp today and spend the day with the brethren. Then that's all right. We just carry where I want to go. I want to go and pick up a few things for my family when I go back home. Yes, see if we can do that today. So it's a freedom day for you. That will also be the media day. And then the Thursday, we're going to be having a wonderful yoga retreat. Yoga retreat specifically to really seal it up. And then on the Friday, you will be flying out and just, you know, everybody will be crying and don't want to go and going to miss everyone. And yeah. That's what it's going to be, of course, because the experience is going to be wonderful. That's the phallic stone there, you know, protruding out of the mountains. So yeah, man, you don't know. As I said, now is the time, family. Making it plain. You know, we have made sure that this whole event could be easily, you know, undertaken by you as far as your transportation to get here. I mean, flying here, wherever you're flying in from, you can contact us. In fact, contact us before you book a flight, unless you own the plane. You know what I mean? If you do, or you have some sort of hookup more than we have, well, nothing wrong. Book your flight and make sure you're here for the 17th. Remember, we're going to take care of you. Technically, you don't have to spend $1 outside of what you spent for the package. So you're not going to land at the airport and trying to get a taxi to reach to us. No, man. From you are here. You don't have to spend nothing unless you want to spend it. And I'm being very serious here. So all transportation, you could obviously see that tight, packed series of events that I gave you. So you hardly have time but to have fun. Yeah. And all your feasts will be available. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. I mean, the best quality food you're getting, fam. It's just up to you to say, well, I'm allergic to this, that, and the third. The best, you understand? And it's almost like a wellness event that you're coming to, you know, not necessarily styled that way, you know. Not playing doctor with you, trying to heal you of whatever you have, but just giving you the lifestyle of Rastafari experience Antigua. That's for sure. And then at the same time, you know, your accommodations. Remember, when you contact us, we can show you pictures of your accommodations where you'll be staying and everything. And that's how you're going to find out the price for the whole experience. You know, you got to contact us and you will be surprised. I'm not asking. I'm telling you, you will be surprised when you understand how inexpensive this whole, you know, tradition will be. So definitely, as I said, family, it is the summer solstice, double hike the Green Castle Hill, Chalice Talk, Chalice Tour, Cannabis Tour, pardon me, 7 days of joy. And yes, Sister Julie, this one was also done by the Honorable Prince as well, as far as the poster I'm speaking of. All right. So contact us, no man, so we can, and as you see, time is getting very close. I want to say one more thing maybe before we seal off. Let me see if everything is all right there. All right. Give thanks. Oh yeah, Bongo wisely in the house, the man. Blessed my Lord, all power, all strength. You know what I mean? Give thanks for your presence, you know, honorable. It is a joy just to see the eye in the house. You know what I mean? Blessed again to the man, Bongo wisely, or a man that can attest to even them works that I was speaking of earlier in St. Lucia as well. You know, give thanks, my Lord, enough respect just for the eye. Our elder Bongo wisely, man that has put in works upon top of works, you know, a man that I met really as a budding young Rastafari, and of course, you know, and you know, I've met him in different islands within my traveling, and then of course spent a moment in St. Lucia, and you know, me and the elder would have co-hosted a program for some time, Rastafari teachings. In fact, I must say that the elder himself somewhat freed I up with that program for a long time. That's how I look at it, you know. I don't know, he may look at it some other way, but I would say that the elder freed I up with that television program for a while to make sure we kept the flagship of Rastafari floating, you know, as far as in the media at that time in St. Lucia. So enough respect, Bongo wisely, in all righteousness of salvation. Yeah, man. Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, blessed love, royal family. All right, I'm gonna get into this one here now before we seal up. And family, any questions, you know, again, please don't be afraid to ask. Give thanks. Yeah, man, Chalwa all the way. And we can visit the website as well, and definitely avail yourself of the chalwa, the chalice in all doings and sayings. Thanks to the man, Prophet Daniel too. Let me just take this dry, Rastafari. I'll say ease off that for a time. I don't have the camera on, but I say go. Now, the letter of Aristeas to Philocrates. What is this all about? The letter of Aristeas to Philocrates. It says here it is a Hellenistic work of the 3rd to 2nd century BC, assigned by some biblical scholars to the pseudepigrapher. It says here that Josephus, who paraphrases about 2/5 of the letter, ascribed it to Aristeas of Marmora, and to have been written to a certain Philocrates. So the letter was written by Aristeas of Marmora, Aristeas. And this is in the 3rd century BCE. So family, that is basically 300 years before Christ. You follow me? Good. Now, what's the importance of this letter? This letter? And before we go to the importance of the letter, let's say again too, that Josephus paraphrases about 2/5 of it. So from Josephus, stamp his name on it, you know that it's authentic. I'm being a bit sarcastic when I said that, you know, but still, Josephus is someone, you know, I think Josephus is one of the individuals that gave a literal account of Christ. You know, some of our scholars highlight that. I think I've heard, if it's not Dr. Ben or Ivan Banser tomorrow, Dr. Henry Clark, someone of that level there was speaking of Josephus saying that the Christ was olive complexion, dark, with picky hair, with short, picky hair. Yeah. How did I read that? I know I come across that. So, and it was amongst them scholarly giants, somewhere amongst that realms. I heard it or read it, one of the two. Or was it John G. Jackson? I think it was John G. Jackson I heard say that. Oh my God. It's so long. No, I think it's Baroshango, man. I think it's Baroshango who was referring to Jerusalem slip. Hey, listen, family, this is why you have to take time to read. I try to search where I get that information from now. If somebody was telling me source up, I would be pulling out, so many things off of the shelf to look for exactly where it came from. But I know that Josephus has been credited to have seen the Lord, the Christ, and he said that he was dark in complexion with little picky hair. So Josephus is somebody that most Bible students who are believers would stretch for, because somehow Josephus is the 13th apostle, or the 14th or 15th apostle. It would assume, because once Josephus says so, so you go historically. Good. Just giving you his credentials, his accolades then. So you can take it from there. So anyway, so the letter of Aristeas stands out. Why is the letter of Aristeas so important? All right. Well, earlier we were in BibleArchaeology.org, and Bible archaeology again says here, it is commonly called Septuagint. Oh, we're back there again. And for those who may be just coming in, we're just basically recapping what we did previous night in the Tiger's Temple. Just kind of going over a few points. We haven't really gone over everything for sure. So earlier we were talking about the Septuagint and what it was and where it supposedly came from, and I would consider my opinion that I don't think, and I'll be humble by saying it that way. My opinion is that I don't think it was really translated from a Hebrew Torah. I believe the Septuagint was translated from the Egyptian scrolls. And I explained to you my rationale for that. It was written in a building filled with the Egyptian scrolls. And some of the stories read very similar to the stories in the same Egyptian scrolls. And where's the Hebrew manuscript that you said that it was translated from, by the way? We can't find it. Oh, okay. All right. But the scrolls were burnt up too. Yeah, but the scrolls on the wall, that's my point. What's in the scrolls is what's on the wall. The wall burned up, the wall's still there. No matter how they try to chip them out and plaster over them and lick off nose and all of that. What is in the scroll is still on the walls. You understand? Good. And that is why we took time to go into the story of Noah. If for those who are just coming in, you could watch the video again. The story of Noah and connect it to the story of Noah in the Bible. There's a Noah in the Bible, Noah. So good. All right. It is commonly called the Septuagint version for the Latin for 70, because according to traditional account of its origin, preserved in the so-called letter to Aristeas, it had 70 translators. So it was called the 70 because it had 70 translators. So if somebody was to say, listen, this Septuagint thing y'all talking about, is this true history? Yeah, source up. Prove it for us. Okay. Now, I ain't going to put my neck on the block for nothing. This is me talking. But from what we are to believe, that the source to prove that the story of the Septuagint and its origin in Africa and the 72 coming from the Levant to translate it in a temple in Egypt. This record is kept in Time magazine. No. The Library of Congress? No, 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 no. The Smithsonian Institute? No, 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 no. This record is on the letter of Aristeas. So the letter of Aristeas is what is used to prove that the Septuagint was translated in 285 BC in Kemet by Ptolemy II. Well, not by him, but by the translation that he commissioned. Just like King James translation is known as the King James Version, but he didn't translate it. He commissioned it. So in the same way, Ptolemy II, Philadelphus, he commissioned it and called 72 wise ones to come and stay in the room known as the museum for 72 days, and out came the Septuagint. Out came the Septuagint. I honestly believe somewhere in history, hundreds of years ago, somebody decided to fool us off and say, hey, let us tell them that it was the Torah in the room. Your humble servant opinion. The letter to Aristeas. All right. Now, we just read that the letter to Aristeas was 3 centuries BCE, and that it was assigned to the pseudepigrapher. Someone may ask, so what does pseudepigrapher mean? Good question. Pseudepigrapher means pseudepigrapher are falsely attributed works, texts whose claimed author is not the true author, or a work whose real author attributed to a figure of the past. So the letter that we historians would cite as the evidence for the origin of the Bible, for the beginning of the Bible, because if you believe that the origin of the Bible is the Septuagint, or even if you believe that the origin of the Bible is the Torah, which was translated to the Septuagint, even whichever way you think it is, your evidence lies in the letter to Aristeas. Without that, is belief you're running. And this letter to Aristeas says that this Septuagint was assigned to the pseudepigrapher. That's a scholarly term. It's like a ghostwriter. You know, William Shakespeare, they say his name is not really William Shakespeare, something else like that. Some people say it's not even him, it's somebody else write his works. Okay, I don't get in there. But when you have a ghostwriter, like in music, you sing in the song and somebody else write it for you, they call it the ghostwriter. But in this case here now, in the pseudepigrapher, it clearly says these are falsely attributed works, texts whose claimed author is not the true author. Or a work whose real author attributed it to a figure of the past. So in other words, when we were speaking of Noah's Ark, so much of vibes here. When we were speaking of Noah's Ark, one of the things that we were highlighting is that Noah's Ark is very similar to Noah's bark. And we know that the Noah's Ark story is older than the Noah's Ark story. In fact, the flood story is a very ancient story, as one brother mentioned last night in the temple. And this is why I'm highlighting that the new story is a creation story. The Noah story is also a creation story, although it may be written in what may consider to be nursery rhyme fashion. An old man built a boat and got two of every animal to fit in the boat. I mean, you know, like, okay, it sounds good if you understand that all stories belong to Anansi. Allegory. You get me? Eh? Good. So the Noah and his bark. One more time is the Noah and his ark. Now, the person that wrote the story of Noah is not the person that we're told that wrote the story of Noah's Ark. But that's what pseudepigraphy is all about. Falsely attributed works. The evidence, man, that prove that the Septuagint came from out of the museum and was commissioned by Ptolemy II, that piece of paper, which is the evidence, is suggesting that the Septuagint, not really a crime, it was just the thing to do in the day, was the work of pseudepigraphy. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to I and I. So family, even though this was just a recap, if you take the time and listen and even maybe watch this video again whenever we seal up, I think you would see that this is some deep, 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 deep meditation to look into. And this is why I'm looking forward to Sunday in the Tigers Temple. Looking forward to the brethren coming in, and they're going to put on the table the outlook of the Bible. And as you can see, we have begun this on some scholarly level. So I'm telling both of them, I'm looking for both of them to come and express themselves in full scholarly level. That's Sunday in the Tigers Temple, family, 8 p.m. sharp. You have to contact us to get your link to come in on the Zoom platform. We've been using the Zoom platform for a bit. So more than likely, that is what we will be using this Sunday in the Tigers Temple. Yes, family, let me see. We have Eddie Selassie was a Christian. All that is the name. Eddie Selassie was a Christian. They used his old name, Rastafari, and turned it into a religion. They made him a god in their own eyes. He himself said he never pretended. He said, never pretend I could be a deity. Okay.
Oh, no. Eddie is the name.
Oh, okay, yeah. Man, I thought that was one name, you know. Sorry, Eddie. I thought the whole name was Eddie Selassie was a Christian. I know some people have some long name here. Well, give thanks, Eddie, man. You know, just give thanks for the love, man. Nobody begs with you for them comment there, man. Just humble. If you're patient and you really want to learn the truth, you'll just stick around and you'll refine your thought wave there in due time. No worry. We all have it mixed up at some time or the other, but you'll get it straight, Eddie. Don't worry. Everything is blessed. You're a bit slightly, yes, like, and I see where you're coming from there. I understand how you feel. No problem, my good brother. Although that wasn't the subject for tonight, you know. That alone shows me that, you know, a little clarity is needed because that wasn't the subject. Nobody at all was talking about that tonight, you know. But in fact, you're the one that brought it into the conversation. But thank you for bringing in the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Lion of Judah, you know, elect of God and light of his world, King Haile Selassie I, you know, give thanks continually. But as you could clearly see, Brother Eddie, you know, the reason we're having here, you know, even about the Bible, you could see the stark difference with even, if you notice what I said even previous night, you know, my discussion didn't go nowhere past 500 AD. The discussion I had about the Bible previous night did not give the Eurocentric hold on the Bible did not come into the conversation. I made sure I kept it in line with its African origin, just to show you that we're not even going there. But anyway, give thanks and give thanks for the love, family. I think we will just seal it here for the moment. Give thanks for your presence, and it was a joy that we could come in and sit and sup with the item. Looking for your presence, looking forward for your presence in the Tiger's Temple. I definitely intend to interview the brethren them before the temple tour. So just keep looking out for new videos coming up. More than likely, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, leading up to Sunday. So definitely look to have a one-on-one reason with the good brothers, Brother Sheldon for sure, as I haven't sat with him in a moment, and definitely Brother was there Hebrew as well, if we could sit and talk even before Sunday. Yes, family, give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, man. Give thanks for your presence with us. Give thanks for all the loved ones in the house. It was a great joy. Fully appreciate love, fully, respect the vibes, and just looking forward to being with the item again. Love and majesty, righteousness of salvation. You done know. Holy Emmanuel, I, Selassie, I, Jah, Rastafari, I. Do give thanks in all doing